Alright, let's get this video underway. I want you to come get lost with me. It's a lyric by Tyler, the Creator, that I love a lot, and I'm pretty sure Call Me If You Get Lost is off that album. But it's a moniker I specifically hold for games as well. And I found it out with two specific games that when it came out, it had a lot of backlash. That is Death Stranding and Dragon's Dogma 2. In Death Stranding's case, I bought the game at 3 a.m. when I had a Zoom class at like 7 a.m. in the morning, but I couldn't sleep. I have heard rumors that this game is just a package parcel delivering simulator, and to be fair, that's what you do for most of the game. That's what the setup and gimmick is. You're trying to rebuild America's hot man Norman Reedus. Anywho, the game is much more than that. The game, once you get into the meat and potatoes, has a lot of beautifulness to it. It's a hiking game. You go around deserts, winter wonderlands, and just greenery, and deliver packages. It's such a beautiful game if you want to turn your brain off and just go somewhere. There are genuinely stunning parts of Death Stranding that you don't get to because you have to unlock this second location that you get to by boat. But once you get there, it's beautiful. You have roads. You have miles of untrekked land outside of BTs and the people that steal your packages. It's much more than a package delivering simulator. You have obstacles. Besides the terrain, you have the BTs, which turn it into like this sort of stealth horror game where you have to hold your breath and walk by. Later on in the second part of the game, once you get to that other area and get to find this lady, she ends up making you something that lets you combat these BTs, which is an extension to your handcuffs that Norman Reedus wears throughout the game. And once you get this extension, it turns into a waiting game of where are the BTs? Where's the cord that ties them to this earth? And where can I slice that off so I have an easier time passing through? Because when you first encounter BTs in Death Stranding, it's such a hard section to get through because you have nothing to defend yourself. Your only option is to just cover your mouth and walk through like that. You have nothing else to do. But once you finally fight back, that's when you start feeling like, yeah, I'm getting it now. This is becoming like a process. Besides that little gimmick part where you get to cut the BT's umbilical cords, you get guns. You get exoskeleton upgrades that allow you to either run faster, carry more things, or climb terrain easier. And if you like those things, you could upgrade them to higher levels that allow them to have more battery life and allow them to be used for a lot longer before they deteriorate or need to be charged. Because the upgrade system in this game is you have to upgrade the facility. You have to deliver packages over and over and over again, going to that place to upgrade it. But it's not like you could get those missions from that facility. The game has a structure in where you have to go outside of that facility to possibly upgrade another facility, so you're upgrading like 3 different facilities at the same time. That's just fucking funny. That's genius, bro. You get cars, you get motorcycles, you get these things that make the process a lot easier. And if you want to look at somebody that makes this game seem fun, watch Donkey. He had a video, and in that video, he fucks around with a cart attachment that lets you ride it like a skateboard. Like it's just a little thing that you gotta push around, like a shopping cart. You know, when you get on the shopping cart and you like kick it with your foot? That's what it fucking is. I didn't know that had that purpose until I saw that Donkey video. Hideo Kojima puts a lot of stupid shit in his games that let you just have fun. You could trek down a whole mountain with that one little gimmick, and it's so funny. One thing I didn't go over, there's people that steal your packages. and they hunt you down. They like ping your location, and it's for a specific area that you have to either negate the ping, you could just stop it so it doesn't track you down and they don't notice you're there, or run for your life, because they have these tridents they fucking throw across the river and fucking try and get you with, and it paralyzes you. And if they catch you, they strip you of everything and leave you. And then you have to go to their base, reclaim your items, and maybe claim a little bit more because they always have a little more goodies for you. Or other things that other porters have left. Another brilliant thing, the online. Death Stranding's online is so isolated, yet it makes it feel like populated, if that makes sense. The whole gimmick is that you're delivering this alone. You're doing this alone. And you slowly gather more and more people backing Sam Porter Bridges on his mission to reunite United States. Once you get online, thousands of structures from other players litter the world. Be it climbing structures, be it bridges, be it actual fucking roads. And so the more the people play this game, and the more people get online, and the more people put stuff down, the more structures you see, the more help you get. It's insane how populated yet alone you feel. And it's just awesome. And one more really good part about Death Stranding is the side characters, or just side content in general. And spoiler warning, I'm going to go into Mad's character in this, because that's the part that I remember the most. Okay, so around chapter 4, you get a chapter called... And then you start seeing this military guy after Sam kind of like geeks out, like,
leave me alone!
And once you see him, he's played by sexy man Mads Mikkelsen? Mads something? I don't know. It's been a minute since I've heard his last name. But he played that guy in Hannibal, sexy man in Hannibal that everybody like creams over. Anyways, this is the most Kojima character I have ever fucking seen. When I tell you he's a man made by war, he's what I'm assuming has been through World War I, World War II, and Vietnam, because those are the sections you play through with him. And you see like planes crashing, tanks moving, and you fight in these locations. You fight as Sam Porter Bridges against this military leader, and he's such a badass. His fucking introductions are crazy. But besides the character made by war, he's also neglected by his government once he gets home. And you learn that they're going to take away his son, and this is the last time he could ever see him. For Hideo Kojima to make a character where his whole gimmick is that he's a father made by war whose government can't do anything for him or his family and only are interested in using his son for the future of Bridges' development. That's crazy! That's like the most Hideo Kojima thing I've ever fucking seen. And it's really funny because it's such a fucking tragic character. And there's so much lore implication with him, between him and Sam Porter Bridges, because he is Sam's dad. Sam used to be like the original BB, I'm pretty sure. And he had a lot of capabilities. BB is like the little baby capsules that they use. And then you see Sam do the same thing that his father did with him for the BB that he was supposed to throw away. There's a lot of good shit that comes from this one side character, because he's not even like a main antagonist. He's like a side antagonist. You see him every now and then, but he's not like the one you're fighting against. You're really fighting against emo Troy Baker. Okay. And now for the Dragon's Dogma 2 section, because that's what the meat and potatoes of this is going to be. I didn't expect to like this game as much as I did. When this game came out, and when I even saw it for the first time, it was part of a PlayStation Direct. And I told my roommate at the time, that looks stupid as fuck. Who is going to buy that? Me. I bought it. He played it for a while, and then I was like, that actually looks pretty fucking hype. Mind you, I've never played Monster Hunter. I've never played the original Dragon's Dogma. So I was like, shit, let me try this. Because people complained that it's just a retelling of the first story and that there's nothing different. There's nothing new to this game that makes people want to buy it. It is genuinely one of the most fun experiences I've had in a long time gaming. And it's the one experience I think about a lot today. What you get from Dragon's Dogma is a game that's aware of the fact that it's just a remake of the first game. Because when you put the game up and you start playing, it doesn't say Dragon's Dogma 2. It says Dragon's Dogma. I've played this game thrice, quadruple times over, and I ended up wanting to 100% it. And only when I decided to 100% it did the mind freak fucking brain blast moment happen. What you get from Dragon's Dogma is a story about breaking the cycle. And it's a story that's been a couple times over. It's what loop movies are about, Groundhog's Day, you know. Guy does this until he finds the break in the chain. But it's very funny because in the entirety of Dragon's Dogma, you're told that this is how it has to go. You're led here and things happen here and there. And there's never really any air of skepticism of how the story is supposed to go or the fact or like acknowledgement to the fact that you could break the chain and the cycle. The only time on the first playthrough that you rouse suspicion is when you see this shadowy figure make it so that you have to deliver the Dragon's Bane to this guy, or the God's Bane sword. Because the ghost that's been guiding you this entire journey just like taps into this guy's mind and makes him change the direction or the outcome of what he's deciding. And besides that, I'm pretty sure it happens near the beginning as well, because I'm pretty sure there's a guy that helps you escape your jail, and he like is mind freaked by this ghastly presence as well. But there are dialogue options within this game that you could talk about or listen to that help you understand that there is supposed to be a brick in the chain, or that you can make a brick in the chain. The one you get the God's Bane sword from, or Dragon's Bane sword from, that you realize that there's something more here, that you could break the cycle. And even the dragon, when you get to ride him before you fight him in the original ending, he starts talking about breaking the chain and how we're here to fulfill our purposes. And even the pawn you make or the ones you hire are just here to fulfill a purpose. Get from point A to point B, kill dragon, reset. That's the only thing that they're made for. And then you climb to the underbelly of the dragon. And then you stab yourself with that same sword, and you and the dragon plummet into the water and get engulfed by the monsters down there. The ghastly presence comes up to you and talks to you. He doesn't want you to break this chain. And then you see these sort of mock-ups of the characters that you think have their own thoughts, have their own purposes, that have been controlled and tampered with by fate to make it so that this is how the story goes. You reject that notion that you could just go back to how things were. That this is not how life is supposed to be. It is now the ghastly presence's mission to make you regret that choice. Fade to black, you awaken on a sort of raptured version of the overworld you've been traveling this entire time. And then it says Dragon's Dogma 2. Title card and all. That's when I knew shit got good. 'Cause if I didn't look into the achievements and if I didn't want to 100% it, I would have never found that they did this. I would have never known that they did this. And so you have to fight smaller, lesser dragons and basically evacuate these areas. And you travel from the sort of first kingdom you go to, and then you evacuate Batal, and you evacuate the Elven Woods, which I never knew existed until I did this ending, by the way. There's a lot of side stuff you could miss in this game until, like, end game. And you evacuate all these places, and you defeat these dragons. And then you start wandering around because you don't think there's anything else on the overworld. And then you see one more portal open right by where you fell a giant. And then this is where you realize something's a little off, besides the fact that you have to get your pawn from being knocked out because they are tied to you. I'm assuming they also had a point where they just knocked out. Your pawn possesses that Goliath. Your pawn fights that giant ass worm that you have to fight once or twice by themselves. There's no way, or at least I think, to get into that arena. And I think your only option may be firing the little catapults or little arrows that are littering the little walkways that you used on the Titan beforehand. That's the first sign that something was up, because your pawn just turns into this matter and possesses this Titan to fight this thing. And then you get to the end, where the final portal opens above the main evacuation site, and you are tasked with felling this huge dragon. And besides Death Stranding, which also does this, where the boss fights aren't like actual boss fights, outside of Mads, when you have to fight Higgs, you fisticuff the bitch. You put him in his place. This is a cutscene ending. Dragon's Dogma 2, the secret ending, has a cutscene ass ending. A playable cutscene, but a cutscene nonetheless. You have to climb from tail up to this dragon's stomach so you could put an end to this cycle. And the dragon's fleeing, and your pawn starts geeking out off that perk 30, off that perk. And they turn into a mini fucking dragon made out of goop and syrup and slop. And you ride your pawn to that dragon, and then they fall away. As you climb this dragon, and you eventually get to the second stage where they knock you off onto their wing, and you have to climb up that, your pawn dragon comes back and digs a hole into their chest. And they admit that traveling with you has given them a purpose lesser, but nonetheless a purpose at all. You then pull a self-sacrificial move and put that sword through the dragon's heart while they impale you with these sort of blood crystals or blood spikes peeking out. and then the world just ends. There is no more cycle. There is no new arisen. The mountain called Monkey has spoken. And all there was silence. Now that's a fucked up thing for me to say because that's just a reference to a Gorillaz song, but a lot of people are mad at this ending. A lot of people think that this game doesn't deserve what it gave us, that this ending is shit, that this ending is ass. And it is. It's such a gimmick ending. You could call it that. You could say that the fact that we had to play through a whole ass iteration of Dragon's Dogma 1 and some people didn't even get to experience the real Dragon's Dogma 2 is crazy. And it is. The fact that this game doesn't tell you anything, the fact that this game just lets you do stuff, the fact that this game lets NPCs that are critical to the story die. There's an assassin mission in this game, and I never caught him till now. I always used to use Wakestone shards to revive the queen, because I would always fail this. And only now did I actually finish the mission and not have her assassinated. There are so many things this game doesn't tell you, and it leaves up to you. And that ending is ass, but like Death Stranding, like Dragon's Dogma, like the thing I said at the beginning of this video, if you allow yourself to get lost and experience these worlds these directors made and give to you, you're going to have a fun time regardless. I had a fun time with Death Stranding. I had a fun time with Dragon's Dogma, despite the fact I went in with somewhat unclear minds if I was going to enjoy this experience, because all I heard about these games were shit. But Tattoo mentioned they're so fun to the fact that I get memorabilia of them tattooed, that like they mean something to me. That it's such a bullshit ending, but if you allow your heart to enjoy something, you're going to enjoy it and have fun. So allow yourself to get lost in these worlds that people doubt otherwise, because who knows if you're going to like it. Just allow yourself to turn your critical brain off and say, hey, there's this guy. He made this game and he's putting it out there. Let me feel what he wants me to feel. Let me experience what he wants me to experience. Otherwise, you kind of blind yourself. And you're like, nah, that's not it. Allow yourself to get lost.